Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagged semesters. Eventually, when you grow enough, everything becomes very funny. Everything becomes very funny. You don't deal with it that way. You deal with it with compassion. In order to get to that state, you have to understand what mind is. And very few people have ever understood what mind is. You have, on another plane, very high vibration rate, the ability to create thoughts. Just like the ocean or a lake can create waves. They're really the ocean, say a lake, a still lake. If the lake's still or the lake's making ripples, it's the lake. It's just lake behaving differently. So you have a field, it's a field that can vibrate, that can create little wavelets. And those are what your thoughts are. And that's all your thoughts are. Every thought, any thought. Doesn't make any difference what it is. A wavelet is a wavelet. A wave is a wave. It's the same water creating, due to disturbance or something, creating a vibration and then falling back into the water. That's what your thoughts are. Go home. No, it's very funny. If that's what your thoughts are, that's very funny, isn't it? You sure make a mess, don't you? If that's what a thought is, and that's what thoughts are, they're just little wavelets in the field of mind. You have them all the time. They come up, they go away. Some of them come up and stay, don't they? Why? Because you hold them there. They do not stay naturally. You got to go put a lot of work out to make a wavelet stay. It's actually a very good analogy. How do you get a wavelet in a lake comes up, or ocean comes up like a wave? How would you get it to stay? It's not hard. Freeze it. Blow really, really cold water at it when it's up at that level, and it will stay. That's what you do inside. That's all that's happening. There is no good, bad, right, wrong, up, down. There's just an ocean of energy, an ocean of mind. The Buddhists call it mind with a capital M. We call it God. I don't care which one I call it. They say they don't believe in God. You do so. You just call it mind. So there's this ocean of mind. There it is. Where is it? Everywhere. It's omnipresent. Can you think of a galaxy far, far away? How long did it take? Oh, there it is. Think of a boat. Think of a car. Think of anything you want. Okay? Is there an end to mind? Go out as far as your mind can go. Go a little further. There's no end. It's infinite. There's the mind. But it can create wavelets. And you have the ability to freeze a wavelet. I just want you to slow it down to that level. Just there it is. It's just everything's everywhere. Then there's this one wavelet comes up. All right? It will come up and it will go down. It'll go back to peace. There it is. Nothing wrong with it. What's the difference? All right? But you have the ability to freeze it. How? Now we're getting into deep. You have to go deep inside to experience this yourself. I said if you take 0 Kelvin and aim it at that wavelet, that thing's freezing instantaneously. Okay? It just bam, there it is, stays there. How do you freeze a wavelet? You focus on it. Your attention, consciousness can focus, can't it? Can you focus your attention? When you focus your consciousness, your awareness of being on that wavelet, it freezes. That's the truth. It's the truth. And if you're a meditator, you go deep enough, you will see that happen. They just come and go until you focus on them. Your consciousness is energy. It's a force. Very much like I go into the field, there's light everywhere. There it is. Everywhere. Where's the light? It's everywhere. Take a magnifying glass. Hold it in front of any place. What does it do? It burns the leaf below it. Becomes focus. Well, I didn't add anything to the situation, did I? He says the light that's everywhere if focused, becomes a tremendous power, does it not? When you focus your attention, when you focus your consciousness, it creates exactly the same. It takes that which is everywhere's tremendous power and focuses it down to a single spot. What spot? The wave. Why'd you focus on the wave? There's the whole ocean. Why'd you focus on the wave? Ready? It caught my attention. Look at the words you use. It caught my attention. Wow, that's pretty far out. What does that mean? You focused on it. It distracted your attention, which was everywhere's. When that came up, it focused. And I'm telling you, when it focused it is exactly the same as holding a magnifying glass. It created this tremendous power that has the ability to freeze that wave. When you want to think about something, do you have to focus on it? Multiply 14.3 times 12 in your head. I know you can't do it. Well, write it on a blackboard. Write on the blackboard of your mind. 14.3 times, it'll fade away. But if you concentrate really strong, it'll stay, right or wrong. Does not concentration make a thought stay? Wow, you guys are getting there. This is what's going on. There's nothing else going on. That's what mind is. That's not what your physical plane is. That's something else. That's made of atoms. That's the quantum field. Okay? This is a much higher vibration rate that scientists can't pick up. It's vibrating too high. But it's there. It's there. It's everywhere. Just like this plane, they say, is omnipresent. It's infinite. It's everywhere. The quantum field is everywhere. Your mental plane is everywhere. It's just a much higher vibration rate. Okay? We'll go slow today. That's all that's going on. All your stuff. I want this. I don't want that. I like this. I don't like that. Why did he say that? I don't like that he said that. I wish I could have this. Oh my God, I remember what happened 20 years ago. That's all that. It's wavelets that you froze. What if I don't freeze them? Be here now. That's what not frozen is. It's just what is. There it is. Wavelet, whatever it is, it's just there. I'm not touching it. It's just what is. There's mind. That's what is called empty mind. It doesn't have to be empty. It's empty if it's not making wavelets, I'll tell you that, right? Which is a whole other state of yoga. Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There's no form is being created. All of it falls into place. All this mystical, deep stuff becomes simple if you understand what's going on. So there's this field, this infinite, omnipresent field of mind, and it can create wavelets, and you can concentrate on the wavelets, and they stay. Do you ever do that? Ha, 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 ha. That's all that's going on. That's all that's going on. But you think that wavelet was really important. No, it was not. Stand out there and look at the ocean. Which wavelet's more important than the other? Well, it depends. If I want to go surfing, if I'm afraid of the water, if I bring me to the thing, all of a sudden it becomes differentiated. Duality. It's not dual. It's just an ocean. It's just all the same thing. It's all the same thing. What are your memories? Things you froze. Things you held on to. How'd you hold on to them? By concentrating on them. But if I'm not concentrating on it right now, yes, you are. That's your subconscious. Your conscious is what you're aware that you're concentrating on. Your subconscious is the exact same consciousness that you're not paying attention to. It's happening underneath it. It became like a habit. Do you have habits? Do you notice you have habits? You don't have to think about them. They're habits. They just happen by themselves. You shake your leg or you do this, you carry yourself a certain way. Well, you have habitual thought patterns also. You have habitual things that you concentrate on. So if you're not paying attention, it's still happening. That's what they call your subconscious. It's underneath your conscious, but it's still the same consciousness. Okay? So basically, we have frozen one wavelet. That's all it takes. One. If you were enlightened, if you were clear, nothing would be frozen. It's not that it doesn't exist. It exists. It's coming and going, and you're not being distracted by it. You're aware of it. That's being in the garden. It all can exist. It doesn't have to not exist. It's all the same. Even on this plane, is it all the same? Is every single thing you've ever looked at in your entire life the same as everything else you looked at? I'm going to tell you yes. They're all electron, neutron, protons. So a whole bunch of the same thing as everything you've ever looked at in your entire life, every single thing. It's the same thing on the mental plane. There's no difference with any thought or any other thought, with anything that gets created, any wavelet, anything, until you concentrate on it. When your consciousness gets distracted and then you concentrate on it, you've now begun to build something in your house of mind. It's not in my house of mind. It's not in your husband's house of mind, and not in your children's house of mind. It's in your house of mind, because you're the one who did it. It was your wavelet that came up. You're the one who froze it. Well, what if the same wavelet come up somewhere else? They let it go, and it made no difference to them. You did that. You're in there building a house of your own structure inside this amazing place called mind. Well, why does the world exist? I don't know. God created the universe. It's far out. There's flowers. There's things. Oh my God, so many things. All right. Why is your mind the way it is? Because that same creator that created the ocean of form and the ocean of mind said free will. You didn't make the trees. You didn't make the clouds. You didn't make the galaxies. I did. But I'm going to have fun and create this field that's not created. I didn't make anything out of it. It's like a computer. A computer has no program running in it. This great, powerful computer has no programming in it at all. What's it doing? Nothing. What's it capable of doing? Everything. That's your mind. That's Buddha's empty mind. The potential is there. Nothing has to be added. It can do anything. And you were given free will. Oh my God. And they tell you weren't given free will. Don't ever listen to them in a billion trillion years. You were given free will. Were you given free will to create the planets? No, God did that. All right? It's already done. But your mind is empty. Your mind, and you in there, the soul, the consciousness, the awareness of being, was given free will in that realm. You have to work real hard to change the flow of water. You have to work real hard to change the weather. And now you're fighting the forces that were already created. Not your mind. I'm sorry. Now, I know that's not your experience with mind, but I want you to understand what is. That is not true with mind. It's your mind. It was given to you, and it's empty, and you do whatever you want with it. Think of a dog. Right now, think of a dog. Did you or didn't you? Think of a cat. Think of a boat. See a boat. Create a boat in your mind. Big one. See? Whatever you want. It is a field that you were given dominance over. God created the computer. He did not create the software that's running in it. You got to write, you got to AI it. You can do whatever you want. Just take a breath. Do you understand? I know that's not your experience. I'm not going to bridge the gap during this talk of what is and what your experience is and why that happened and what to do about it. Okay? So if they tell you don't have free will, some psychology says that now. Okay, they don't have free will. What they're saying is, and listen to me, what they're saying is, you made all these wavelets in your mind. They've become habitual thought patterns. They're there whether you want them to be there or not. Your attention is going there subconsciously. That's what's driving your behavior. So you don't have free will. Go deeper and you'll see you did that, right? You created the situation. Now you know how to get out. That doesn't mean you have free will. Understand what I just said to you? I've read and I've seen them say it. That human beings don't have free will. That's already determined for you because of your thought patterns and your tendencies and this and your genetics and all these different things. So they're basically saying is because you created all these frozen wavelets in your mind and now they're doing their thing because energy flowing through them behaves a certain way, you don't have free will. You see the difference? At the core level, you did every single thing that's going on inside your mind. You had a traumatic experience. Someone mistreated you. Some terrible thing happened. Is it happening right now? No, it happened 30 years ago and I was little. You kept that. How? It was a wavelet that happened. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's over. But it's not over inside your mind. It's over out here. It'll never happen again. You're not 5 years old or 10 years old, 20 years ago, whatever. But why is it still affecting you? Why is it still in your mind? Because you're holding it there. You froze it. Why did I freeze it? Because it was so powerful that it distracted your consciousness so totally that you became traumatized. What does traumatized mean? That the wavelet got frozen and your conscious can't get off of it. There are children that something terrible happens, they'll never talk for the rest of their life. Don't think I'm making light of this. I just want you to understand what's going on. For once in your life, don't get caught in all this stuff. Understand the truth. The truth is you're the only one in there. Is that person in there now that did that thing to you 20 years ago? They were never in there. You're in there. What did you do with that event? I've got rather distracted by it, froze it inside my mind, and now it's affecting the entire rest of my life. Do you have to live like that? No. Wow, thank you. Because many of them will tell you yes. They have this word. It's called cope. What does that mean? You can't do anything about it. It's really in there. It's real. Learn to live with it. Cope with it. It's a total misunderstanding of everything that's going on. You are the only one in there. Anything go on in your mind, you did. All right, now let's get real with that. How do the wavelets get created? It's easy to watch. You have these things called senses. I call them sensors because I'm a computer guy. They're the same as sensors on a computer. They can hear and see and touch and taste. They pick up the vibrations of the outside world, don't they? If you did not have senses, to you there is no outside world. If you can't pick it up and it doesn't touch your consciousness, there's no awareness of it. But you have senses. And I like them call them sensors. They're picking up the vibrations of the outside world. And it passes them back through the wiring system called your nerves. That is the wiring system that's attached to the sensors, is it not? And the impulses get sent back. In the computer world, we digitize them so that they get sent back in pure form. In this world, they pass them back electrical impulses. Same thing. They come back and they hit the central nervous system, center of the whole thing of the brain. And you are sitting back here, way back. Who's you? Consciousness, awareness of being. If it's coming in and nobody's paying attention, nobody knows it, it might not have happened. You're sitting there reading a book. Ever done it? I'm reading a book. Mostly for school, probably, all right? I'm reading a book. I turn 4 pages. I do not have the slightest idea what was on those pages. I read the words. I heard them in my mind, right? But I wasn't paying attention. Who? Me in here. Can you do that? Okay, very good. They call it spacing out. No, it's spacing in. So your consciousness is back here. And input comes in to the mind. And that's where it comes from. Right now, in the simplest model, prime, all right, in the beginning, it comes in through the senses. It hits the brain. It's not the end of it. The brain is a bunch of mass, a bunch of atoms. The brain receives the impulses. It then transfers into wavelets in the mind. Some of them know that, but not many. Maybe someday they will. So when you create a boat in your mind, or when you see a boat, I've explained this to you. Do you understand you are not looking out through your eyes? You are not, you have never, and you never will look out through your eyes. What is happening is light is bouncing off of objects in the outside world. Depending upon the molecular and atomic structure, it bounces off different frequencies of light, which are your colors. It reflects off the object back into your eyes, which pick up the light. They don't pick up the object. The object didn't get in there. The light bouncing off the object gets in there. It then transfers up, hits your brain, and renders in your mind, in that mind field that I was talking about. Yours is generally that kind of mind field. I'm in a mind field. And it goes there, and when you create a boat in your mind, you have created the wavelet of a boat. A psychic can see that boat. Most of them are fakes, but there are real psychics. And they can see your thought. Guess who else can see your thought? Guess who else is psychic enough to pick up that very, very subtle vibration rate in the mental plane? You. You see it. You created it. It didn't come in through your senses, but it can. When it comes into your senses and makes the vibration, the electrical vibration, impulse, nerve impulse, comes up, hits the brain, there's that, they don't know about the transfer because they don't have any instruments that can pick up that higher vibration rate. So they say it just stops there. I don't understand. I know nothing about electricity in any way, shape, or form. Okay? And there's this blender running. I'm going to take it apart, study every single thing I'm going to know about that blender is going to be physical, right? And I'm going to tell it, you know why it runs? Because there's this motor in there, and it turns by itself. No, Excuse me, sir. No, it doesn't. There's electricity going in there, which is being converted into energy, which is causing blah, blah, blah. But you don't have any measure electricity. You don't know anything about electricity. And that thing's running. That's where they used to be. You're blind because you don't have instruments that can pick it up. They don't have instruments that can pick up mind yet. They try. There's different studies. They try to pick up those vibrations, okay? But we're not there yet. Someday they will be. Just like they didn't used to pick up ultraviolet or infrared or even X-rays. They didn't know it could look through your body. There wasn't anything like that. Well, when we picked them up, when we found ultraviolet and infrared, we didn't say it was another plane. It existed outside the physical world. We defined the physical world as including it. Here's your electromagnetic spectrum. It used to be this big, now it's this big. Well, maybe it's bigger than that. Of course it's bigger than that. How big is it? Infinite. Where's the end of the long and the short frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum? There isn't any. It is infinite. There's just, we haven't been able to pick them up. We don't have instruments that will pick it up yet. Someday when they go far enough up, they will hit your thoughts. They will see that vibration rate, that vritti we call in yoga. Yogis knew all this when thousands of years ago, because they meditated back inside and experienced it themselves, not have to go outside and build instruments that can read what you can read inside. Every single one of you pick up thoughts. Every one of you pick up emotions. You don't even think about it. Consciousness is able to pick up the entire vibration rate of the entire universe. Whoa, really? Yes. Well, why don't I feel the vibration of the entire universe if I can pick up thoughts and emotions? Because you're so fixated on yourself that your consciousness doesn't pay attention that it's God. That's what's in there. What's in there is God. God consciousness. It can experience the entire universe at once. That's what enlightenment is. Well, why don't I? Because your consciousness is distracted by those wavelets in your mind and your emotions. And you're focusing completely on those, and you don't even know you don't have to. It's not complicated. It's actually the simplest thing in the world. It's just all about frequencies and vibrations. So basically, the world comes in through your senses, but it's physical. It's a low vibration. It gets converted into impulses. What is physical out there is nerve impulses in here. That's why they do have instruments that can pick up wave vibrations in your brain, correct? They pick up the impulses and that kind of stuff. But they're just reading it off the brain. They understand that exact same impulse is being converted, is creating the wave, exact one. They pick up electrical impulses, EKG and EEG, all that kind of stuff, right? They're picking up electrical impulses. Those electrical impulses don't stop where they pick it up. They are very subtle, and they're subtle enough to create the wavelets inside your mind. I've never said that to you before. Do you see the difference? Where do waves come in an ocean? Disturbance from underneath. The ocean bed, or vibrations from earthquakes, all kinds of things that cause the water to do that. What causes your mind, the flat, empty mind, to create wavelets? I just told you. One way is the outside world comes in from your senses, gets converted into electronic impulses, nerve impulses, gets passed up into the brain where it all picks everything up, and they can read those impulses. They know what part of your brain picks up the eye, this, how? By watching those nerve impulses. What they don't understand is your brain is not your mind. Your brain is not your mind. Your brain is what picks up all the central nerve impulses coming from everywhere, gets centered there, and the subtle vibrations create the vibration that makes the wavelets in your mind. And that's what you're experiencing. You're sitting back here, witness, you're sitting back here watching those wavelets get created. But you're giving them names. There's that thought that I was thinking of this. No, they're just wavelets that cause the mind to vibrate, and you're the consciousness that sees that wavelet. Do you understand that? I've never went into that much detail for you. These are the truth. Scientists are great things, but a real scientist knows they don't know anything. Newton used to think there was no relativity. He described the whole world. Einstein blew it up because he said, excuse me, Isaac, what you're saying is true if you're standing on the planet Earth and if you're standing still. And everything else is related relative to you. And since we only have one starting point, all of us, we all agree that that's what the world is going on. The moment Einstein stepped off the planet Earth and started noticing it's moving, These things are not hard to understand. You're driving 60 miles an hour. Are you really? What if I'm over there on the moon and you're spinning at thousands of miles an hour and then your car is moving? I have to say from where I'm sitting, you're moving at 1,060 miles an hour. That's what relativity means. Oh my God, it's not complicated. No, it's not complicated. That's what Einstein proved. He expanded science to say, hello, you can't do it all from the planet Earth. That's not reasonable. It depends on where you're standing. Well, which is it? Are you going 60 miles an hour or 1,060 miles an hour? Or 7 million miles an hour because you're standing somewhere else and the whole galaxy is moving? There's no answer, is there? That's where it got a little more complicated. Okay? So they didn't understand something, but they thought they did. Well, they don't understand this. So I'm telling you, how do you know? Because you're in there. The ultimate seer of all of science, of all of knowledge is you. Who knows psychology better than you? You're the psycho. You're in there. You're watching it. You see your mind. It's not even hard. Isn't that amazing? You have the ability to pick up what no scientific instrument is capable of picking up. Your thoughts. Because the subtle vibration rate is not more subtle than consciousness. Nothing is more subtle than consciousness. It is the creator of the universe. It is the beginning and the end. It is God. Consciousness is it. That's the highest vibration rate it could possibly be. Every vibration rate, all your electron, neutron, protons, quantum field, plus your mind, plus your emotion, everything is consciousness slowed down. That's the highest vibration rate. In fact, it's not even vibrating, because vibrating means differentiation. It's non-dual. It's one. There's no separation at all. As it slows down, you start getting the mental plane, then you get the emotional plane, then you get the physical plane. That's all it is. So I now have steam. I put cold on it. I have water. I put cold on it. I have ice. They're all the same thing. Every single thing is the same thing vibrating at a different rate. And what's beautiful with quantum physics, I'm sorry, I can't help myself, right, is they got it down. They don't even call them things. Quantum physics now says there are no particles. It's not true that an electron, neutron, and protons are particles. They are wavelets in a field. They are wavelets, excitations, wavelets in a field called the quantum field. And they all interact together, zillions of them, and they seem to make an electron. They seem to behave like an electron. There is no place that there's an electron. It's a field of probability of all these different wavelets coming together. And that's what all of it is, all of it. So they literally are saying the same thing that the yogis said about mind. It is a field of energy, and it's vibrating, and you're the consciousness that is aware of it. But you pay attention to it, that freezes it, and once you freeze it, it's there. And now what do? Now you build more and more of them together, and you create your mind. You create your ego. You create every single thing that's going on in your mind. What you did was build a house out of those frozen mindlets. And you do it all the time. Everything that comes in is supposed to go through, but it doesn't, does it? You hold on to it. You pay attention to it. You just build your whole mess going on inside your mind. And you blame everybody for doing what they did, that when it came in, it made you freeze it, and now it's screwing you up. You understand? The most important talk you'll ever hear. Otherwise, they're teaching you what to do with your mind. You shouldn't have done that. I can't believe you did that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Thought. Can they put thoughts inside your mind? This is the entire superego. This is your social patterning. I taught you shouldn't do that. Don't look like that. Don't wear that. Right now your mind is saying, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. They're just thoughts in your mind. Oh, my God, please. Once, I'm daring to tell you the truth. They're nothing. They're nothing. None of them are anything. What about id, ego, superego? I love Freud. He analyzed those wavelets that are inside your mind. And he said, oh, look, your body, who is not mind, is not made of mind, it's a much lower vibration, right, needs to catch your attention if it's hungry. You don't know hunger, you're consciousness. You don't get hungry, you don't even have form. And your mind can't get hungry. So it has the ability to create, I'm crying because it's so deep. Your body has the ability to create wavelets in your mind that say, I'm hungry, to catch your consciousness so you come down and feed the thing. Exactly the same as the outside world creates wavelets into form, your body can create those vibrations, can't it? That's the id. The id is your body's representative on the mental plane. I actually wrote those words 50 years ago in The Search for Truth. The id is your body's representative on the mental plane. It creates thoughts in the mental plane. Your mental plane doesn't have a body, not made of form, but somebody better be catching attention because you're off there playing around in your field of mind. What's a superego? The outside world has the ability to create thought forms within your mind. Sometimes you actually hear your preacher's voice. You hear your mother's voice. Yes or no? So it literally created the exact patterns inside wavelets in your mind. And you froze them there. And so now you have that going on. That's your superego. And the big one is the ego. What do you mean? All these wavelets I'm overwhelmed. You're drowning. I tell you that right now, right? All those wavelets are being created from the outside world, from the parents of this, all the input. Pretty intense in there, isn't it? Well, I'm drowning. I don't know. Well, okay, get some solidity. But there is no solidity. There's all these wavelets, and they keep changing, and everybody's saying different things, and all the different forms coming in. It's overwhelming. It's totally overwhelming. How do I get solidity? Fake it. What do you mean? Freeze that one and hold on for dear life. I'm a nice person. I'm a Hell's Angel person. I've hurt people in the past and I don't like myself. I've been wonderful. I'm a wonderful person. I never hurt anybody. If they got hurt, it was their fault. What are those thoughts? So you held on to certain ones and you built this thing called a self-concept. What's a self-concept? Little wavelets within your mind that you froze. Take a breath. I'm trying to liberate you. You know what liberation means? You ain't playing around like garbage. What in the world are you doing, devoting your life to little wavelets happening on a higher plane? But you don't have a choice, do you? Why? Because it is overwhelming. The consciousness is lost, and it's just getting drowned by all this input that's coming in. What does psychology call when you start to do that? Your formative years. Don't ever do it, but take a baby and put it in a different crib every single night, and have a different person pick it up every single night, and have it give it different toys every single night. You will have one seriously neurotic human being. Because you didn't give him a chance to do what I told you. When you drop down, Master, you'll understand when the soul, the consciousness, drops down into the body, it is such a traumatic experience. Here it is expansive, boom, it loses itself. The shock of dropping down into the body causes everything to just get lost. And what it needs to do is start building a sense of solidity inside itself. And that's what your ego is. That's what your self-concept is. Oh, this is my mommy. What do you mean it's your mommy? It's a person on the planet Earth. No, it's mine. I, me, mine. Oh, those are your sacred words, because that's how I define myself. I'm the one here that has that mommy. And I build this house inside of this mind, this empty mind, this beautiful, that can do anything. That's what I do. I build a definition of myself. Is it myself? Of course not. You're the one who's building it. Well, how do I know it's fake? Have one thing happen. Find out that she's not your mommy. You were adopted at 20 years old. They go crazy. So what? There's your mommy. Somebody who brought you up. What the heck's the difference? What womb you came out of? That's mine doing that. You understand that? You don't even know what womb you came out of. Obviously you don't know. Somebody told you 20 years later. Oh my God, I'm not who I thought I was. But I'm not making light of it. People get traumatized by that. That's how lost we are in mind. We have defined ourselves. I haven't defined myself as the consciousness that's aware of these wavelets going on inside my mind. Oh, I see, that wasn't the way I thought it was. Okay, fine. I got plenty more. No. I held on to that for dear life. Why? Because I was lost. That's a lost soul. I lost my sense of self, my sense of God connection, who I am. And I dropped in this body. Now I'm totally lost. I need to hold on to these thoughts. Isn't it amazing? You defined yourself as the thoughts that you froze. And you're serious about it, aren't you? What if somebody walks up to you and said, wait a minute, what are you doing walking with that guy? That's my husband. No, it's not my husband. and then it breaks. Has it ever broken? Answer me, has it ever broken? Has that self-concept, the core, the foundation, like a relationship or people thinking highly of you or whatever it is, ever broken to where you didn't know which side was up? I love you. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I'm so glad you went through that. What does it mean? It wasn't real. That's how you take it. Oh, God, look at that. If it can break, it wasn't who I was. I'm still here. Are you aware that it broke? Are you aware of the pain? Are you aware of the fear? Are you aware of the anxiety that came from that? Who? The same you that was hanging on to that thing. You built a house out of those frozen wavelets. Oh, my God, shame, shame. Guess what? It's not going to hold. That's what Christ meant. I'm going to change his words slightly. He said, don't build your house on sand. I'm saying don't build your house on wavelets. That's the same thing. Isn't that beautiful? Christ's teachings are yoga. They're just absolutely yoga. So basically, you build this complete, complicated structure. Did you build it during your formative years, or are you still building it? Yeah, you bet you are. Every single day of your life. Somebody comes to you and says, oh my God, you're so beautiful or handsome, right? I've never seen anyone as beautiful. You blow me away. Oh, just to see you again would make my day. Oh my God. How you doing? Is that person your enemy or your friend? All right, wavelet, frozen, bam. All right, add that to the mess that's in there. This is my friend. This person loves me. This people think I walk on water, right? Then you walk tomorrow. You're supposed to meet them. But before you meet them, they're saying the same thing to somebody else. How you doing? There's ego being built out of wavelets. What if you didn't have that experience with that person the day before and you saw them talking to somebody else? Really, any difference to you? Who's willing to wake up to listen? Is that not what's going on? Do you understand that is a cause of all suffering? You have developed in your mind a concept. A concept is a thought in the mind. That's all a concept is. You developed a thought in your mind about how things are supposed to be. You say if they're not that way, they're wrong. You were wrong to do that. I can't even believe you think like that. I would never think like that. Of course you wouldn't. You built your mess and she built hers. How in the world can you understand why a person would think the way they do? But that's where I wanted to go. So now you've built this structure in there. How big is it? OMG. So you made this. Now I want you to see how big what you made in there. How big of a message you make in your mind. And do you suffer? Answer me. What did Buddha say? All of life is suffering. Because he's talking at that level. Let's put it this way. You know how much life is suffering? You struggle to have life be a way that you don't have to suffer. Everyone has to think the way you do and behave the way you do. Everyone has to be the way you expected them to be. What if somebody close to you, your kid, got in trouble with drugs, and you're some straight person? How you doing? You built a model in there, didn't you? And you think it's right. Take a breath. All of life is suffering. And the Buddha said, what's the cause of suffering? He used one word, desire. But what he basically said was, this model you built in there, your preferences, your hopes, your dreams, your conscience, your views, your beliefs. So basically, you made a royal mess in there. And what the Buddha said, that's a cause of suffering. And it is a cause of suffering. If you don't do that, and you come into this world open and say, wow, it's a flower. Not, oh, it's a flower. How come the bug ate a piece of it? Oh, my God, it was perfect before. No, it's perfect as it is. There's nobody judging anything. There's anybody listening? It's phenomenal that it exists. Everything, anything. It's phenomenal that mind can do whatever. Oh, my God. And it's phenomenal what you did with your mind. And eventually, that's enlightenment. That's the highest state you can get in, where you just realize it's just all is. It just is. And Buddha said the second noble truth was the cause of suffering is preference, desire, mental concept of how things should be. What is a desire? A mental concept, mental and emotional concept of how things should be. I want them to be that way. I don't want them to be that way. You didn't make the place. The Earth's been here for 4.5 billion years. How long have you been here? How old were you when you started telling how it's supposed to be? Have a little kid? It doesn't take long, does it? Is that amazing? You used your mind to create non-reality. And now you expect the outside world to match it. And if it don't, you suffer. What's the third noble truth? To end suffering, stop it. And they misunderstand that too. In the simplest sense, it's to end suffering and desire. Now what do? Suppress your desires. That's what it means to end desires. Oh, look, there's one. Just create a subconscious mess instead of a conscious mess. And then create a self-concept that says, no, I don't have any desires. I like that one the most. I've meditated for years. I've gotten rid of all my desires. Who's talking in there? Because that ain't God, okay? Whoa, gotta use the word I. Who's willing to listen to the deep truths? Now, what do you do about it now that you understand what's going on? It's not about getting, I'm going to cry because I don't like to talk about anybody else's teachings. It's not about getting what you want. What is that? I'm lost in these frozen images that are inside my mind. I'm only okay if the outside world matches the frozen images I built within my mind and my emotions. Therefore, life is about getting what I want. Life is about manipulating, controlling, attracting, repulsing, everything so that it matches the concepts I built in my mind so that I can feel okay for a little while. No, I don't think so. Well, what will life be about? Stop it. That's what life's about. Stop building those images into your mind and start appreciating and honoring and respecting reality. You made those images in your mind, and now you want the world to match them, right? How much control do you actually have about the world? None. It's been 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang, if you even want to start there. And everything built all the atoms, and then they came together, and they did all this, and the atoms came together, and they built DNA. You didn't build them. Nobody did. They built everything, and then there's evolution. You were a little protozoa down there, right? And it all come up and everything. And you did all that, did you? And so you dropped down here, but here I am, get away, start, don't do that, you shouldn't have done it, come away, you should be this way. Oh, are you kidding me? And then people come down and tell you spiritual teaching is learn to attract to yourself what you want. Help! In other words, stay caught, stay completely caught, but feel good about it. But in the meantime, you should listen to the teachings at the level you're capable of hearing them. If people are suffering and they have no hope, they're afraid, then they should have hope. Don't listen to me. Because I'm going to say hope is a vibration within your mind. It can change. I lost hope. I had hope. Okay, fine. Nothing changed. The whole universe stayed the same. I always tell you, 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. What changed because you lost hope? Because somebody said something. I didn't believe you said that. I had such hope in our relationship. I can't believe you did that. Okay, what changed with the 1.3 million Earths and every spot on it that fits inside the sun? Nothing. Your mind. Okay? What we're talking about is the path to enlightenment. We're talking about liberation. We're talking about, let's have some meaning in your life. If that's all a bunch of balderdash, and it is, you walked into a house of mirror and got scared and didn't know how to get out. The other day I gave a talk telling you your mind, VR, you put those goggles on and there's a whole other world out there. That's what your mind is. You were in totally different goggles than hers because you had totally different experiences. So you froze totally different things. And you just built this thing. Now, when you look out there, you're wearing VR. Your field of vision is not reality. You are looking through those minds, through the mind field. You're looking through the mind field out into the world, and you see through that. You see what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like, what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, all based on your VR. Do you understand how true that is? Do you understand no one sees the same thing you do? Is the same thing out there? Yeah, the same electrons and protons are out there. But you don't see electrons or protons. You don't see atoms. You don't see molecules. You say, I can't believe she said that. So it's all the projection of what you built in your VR. You're living in a totally different world than your husband. And you know that, don't you? You say it all the time to him. What world are you living in? Come on, down to reality. And what you mean by reality is the way you see it. Are you willing to listen to this? Okay? All right. Are you lost in it? Yes. You're completely lost in it. And I told you why. Because if it matches your stuff, you feel good. It feels good in there. It feels safe. It feels solid. It feels nice. And if it doesn't match your stuff, it feels terrible. Can it get really messy in there? Do people commit suicide? Why? Because of that field. The field they built got so uncomfortable. I always tell you, we are taught that survival instinct is the strongest, most basic instinct. Then how can suicide take place? Because it's not the strongest instinct. The strongest instinct is your attachment to this false solidity you built in there. And if things don't match it, you don't live, or you get upset, or you do weird things. Fair enough? What do I do about this? First, you decide what you want to devote your life to. You really want to devote your life to making the outside world match what you made up inside your mind? You weren't supposed to be like that. I never thought you would do anything like that. Okay, I agree. You never thought that. But that doesn't mean they didn't do it, does it? Right? They didn't have any trouble thinking it. Wake up. Stop with this right and wrong and good and bad and better and worse. And stop being married to your VR. How? Okay, it's a process. You have to learn to free yourself, liberate yourself. That's what it's called. You have to learn to free yourself from these patterns. How? By suppressing them? No, that does not free yourself from them. They get worse. So you made the patterns, then you push them down to the subconscious. They don't do well down there, guys. That's why psychology, Freudian psychology, is based on don't suppress. It's all that's suppressed down there that's the problem. Well, they're right, but they don't understand suppression. Yes, you shouldn't suppress, but there's ways to go way higher than not suppressing. Okay? Like, I love the fact I have just a few minutes left. That's all it takes to tell you how to get out. It is not a complicated process of learning all kinds of techniques and believing in this and trying, although in the end it probably is. Why? Because are you ready to let go of what happened to you 20 years ago that every time it comes up causes you problems and you feel hurt? Is there any reason to hold on to that? Is there any reason that you are holding on to that? Is it holding on to you or are you holding on to it? It has no hands. There's no super glue in there. I told you the only reason those wavelets freeze is because you pay attention to them. Well, if I suppress them, I'm not paying attention. Yes, you are so. You're paying attention more to them. You have to take enough consciousness that they formed. Now you have to push them away. And believe me, if they're down there, you are pushing them away every second of your life. How much energy are you wasting? Oh, my God. And you're making your life about having the world not hit those. So how do you let go? You learn to let go. What do you mean? You start off in the morning and you say, I'm going to have a day today. I'm going to spin on the axis once. I'm not getting rid of other ones, and that's not my job yet. I'm not going to put more in today. That's a whole different task than work out your subconscious. Just if you put more in, what's the purpose of taking any out? The boat's got water in it. I'm going to get a pail and get it out. On the other hand, I'm going to put more in. What are you doing? Learn to not put more in is your first task. Just like playing the piano. You don't start with Beethoven or Mozart when you're learning athletic type stuff for sport. You don't play against Michael Jordan in basketball, right? You start practicing. Practice not doing what we just talked about all day. How? You're the one who's doing it. So if you walk outside and it's raining, and you start building this thing inside your mind. Why is that the rain? That's the rain on my birthday. It doesn't know it's your birthday. Come on. You do say that, don't you? It didn't rain for 2 weeks. Why? What are you doing? Why can't you just accept the rain? Can you accept anything? People yell at me because I always use the same example. The one I like the most, and I'll use it all the time, is the driver in front of you. Does anyone along with me have trouble with the driver in front of them? Has anyone ever talked to the driver in front of them? Come on, buddy. The speed limit's 55, not 30. Did you see the sign? Come on, what are you doing? Why do you keep stepping your brakes? Nice blinker, buddy. Yes or no? I'm exposing him. He does this. I'm in AA. My name is Michael Singer, and I do that. Do you or do you not? What good does it do? Do you understand that if the driver in front of you is really driving that bad, okay, if you see a car like that 3 weeks later, your heart hurts. I'm not driving down that road. This guy drives down that. It's not the same car. That's the same person. Doesn't matter. That kind of car drives down that road. I'll take a different. You froze it. You froze that stupid little experience. The guy turns after 3 blocks, but you held it inside of you, did you not? And you told people about it. I'll do it. Just keep focusing on it. You should have seen that driver. Oh, my God. And they'll tell you, oh, you should have seen the one who did me. Just go on. Do it. Make a mess out of the driver in front of you for 2 minutes. How about we not? How about we start learning how not to do that? Notice the key word was learning. I know you don't know how to do it. Learn. You learn the piano, you learn an instrument, you learn a sport, you learn all kinds of things, don't you? But you start by learning. So take the new book, Living Untethered, I call it low-hanging fruit. Start with the low-hanging fruit. The things, the cost-benefit analysis is as follows. 100% cost, zero benefit. Good business decision. You hear me? Work with yourself that way. And sit there and say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do that. How? My experience, and it'll be yours, my experience is the only technique you need is this word, relax. In order to resist the driver in front of you, you must tense. You must force. You must focus. You have to focus consciousness. If you relax, you're not focusing. Relaxation is the opposite of tension. You have to focus your consciousness onto that driver's behavior. What if I see the driver, I see the thing, I see it start to do its thing inside, and I relax instead? And it doesn't do it. Maybe it does it, but not as much. You learn how to let go. Instead of learning how to build these stupid things, you learn how to not build these things. You learn how to not freeze the wavelet. Not let me freeze the wavelet and then get what it wants. You're not going to get free that way. You learn how to not freeze the wavelet. How? You're the one who's freezing it. Just let it go. What about positive affirmation? They can do that. Sit there and say, I love how they're driving. Oh my God, maybe they're old and this is the last month they'll ever drive. I'm not going to beep them or tailgate them. It could be my grandma. You can do that. Neutralize. That's called neutralizing the thought with another thought. That's fine. Ultimately, you just relax. Ultimately, stop doing what you're doing to freeze it. Okay? Well, what if I breathe? Nice technique. What if I think of God? Nice technique. All of these are the same thing. Instead of focusing on that, distract your consciousness with something else, ultimately, you will just relax. But you can use all these techniques. That's fine. You need them. Fine. But ultimately, you'll see it start. You'll feel the wavelet come, and you'll see your consciousness start to go to it. Literally, before the consciousness actually focuses on it, you just relax, and it falls away. It passes through. Okay. How about we practice that? What's going to happen? You'll go through a day, and then you sit down at night. In the morning, you say, I'm going to do that. I'm not taking any more on. And at night, you check it out. You wouldn't have done so good. Okay? So let go now. I stored that. Okay. Neutralize it. Relax. I don't want to store it. It's not that you're not storing the new ones. You're learning how to not store. You're learning how to let go. And then all of a sudden somebody says something to you that would have bothered you a lot, and you saw the tendency to go down and do the thing, and instead you just said, she's having a bad day, it's fine. Or you didn't say anything. Ultimately, you don't say anything. Just relax. Relax the tendency to resist. You actually feel the tendency to resist. Relax that before you even touch the thing. And when I did interview with Oprah on the Untethered Soul, she said her favorite part of the book, it was let go now or fall. If you don't let go immediately, it's harder to let go later. Well, I'll just think about it a little bit, okay? And then I'll let go. Are you crazy? I'll freeze it and then have to figure out how to unfreeze it. No, just the moment you feel the tendency, you can feel the Shakti shift. You feel the tendency to go down there. You're up here. You feel the tendency for the consciousness to get distracted and focus on that wavelet. Relax. Just relax and fall back. People say, I don't know what you mean. You'll know what I mean when you learn to do it. Why? The consciousness is way back there. Fall back is to go back to where it came from. Not you go back. Just don't leave. And you just relax. And the next thing you know, the energy didn't go down there. It didn't freeze the thing. And it goes through and just, it's gone. It's over. You don't have to carry it with you. And then a bigger one happens. Then another one happens. Eventually, you can let go of this old stuff. Next husband comes back up. That what you were always scared of. You saw a snake when you were little. Now you don't like to go hiking. It comes up. Let go. Let go. You don't have to unfreeze it. You have to stop freezing it. I'm telling you, it doesn't freeze and stay there. You have to keep your focus on it to keep it frozen. So you learn to let go more and more. And the next thing you know, you start to touch the higher states. What's the higher state? That you don't have to go down there because you didn't get distracted by the garbage you stored down there. It's not an effort. How do I not get distracted by the garbage? Those words make no sense. You're already distracted by definition. How do I not be distracted when I'm distracted by it? Sorry, you have to start earlier. Start learning not to be distracted. Then all of a sudden, the stuff that comes up, the old stuff, won't distract you as much. And some of it will chip away. And you'll find out that you're doing all of it. You built the ego. You built the superego. You did everything. It's about letting go. Well, I can stop. It's hard to stop. I got you. I like talking to you. If I had my way, you'd put on a set of earphones. I would be talking to you every single minute. And I would say, oh, let go, let go, let go, relax, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. You can do that in there. That's the higher self raising lower self. Okay? And somebody once said, a great Buddhist teacher, he said, spirituality is never about getting anything. It's always about losing everything. Lose your tendency to freeze these patterns, and they're going to float away. And all the energy that you used to use to hold all that in there is liberated. And it goes up. If it's not being held down, it goes up. And all of a sudden, you're feeling Shakti feeding you day and night. Just wave your hand across the chakra, burst out all the time. Want love? You lay down in bed, wave your hand across your heart, you pass out. There's love. You're a great being, but look what you've done with it. Laugh. I told you, I said it should be fun. Isn't it funny what you did with it? You were given everything. You were given free will. Where do you want to go today? To hell. Let's go. I don't even need a handbasket. Let's just go on. All right. Work with yourself. Jagradav.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.